Hi everyone, today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Canon EF 50 1.8 STM lens. In my case, it's my first purchase as an upgrade to the kit lens that came with my camera, but it's a solid enough lens that it'll work for many applications. So let's take a look at it. Alright, so we'll take a look at what we have in here. I expect it to be relatively straightforward. There's not a lot to it. Simplicity is the beauty of this. So obviously we've got the instructions, not a lot to instruct us on, and then the lens itself. Okay. So it's a very small lens, which is good. It's lightweight, doesn't add a lot to your camera. But a few things I wanted to make note here. The predecessor to this, which I believe was the Model 2, Mark II, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it was well known as the Nifty 50, and it's one of the best-selling camera lenses of all times. So there's been a few changes made to this. I think most notably the base is metal, where on the previous model it was plastic. The other one is the stepping motor, gear driven, so it's going to be a little quieter and smoother. The other thing is, I don't think you'll be able to see here, but it has a 7-blade aperture versus the previous 5-blade, which means when you go with the shots where you have the soft focus in your background, the lights will have a much nicer circle to them rather than the hex shape that they had in the past. So there's an autofocus, manual focus switch here. Although even so on autofocus mode, you're not going to be able to use the focus ring unless you press the shutter button halfway, in which case you can use the manual focus. So I guess some of the things I'd want to say here is, if you're upgrading from your kit lens, this is a great first lens. It's really good for portraits. It's got a good focal length, which is going to allow you to create those nice soft backgrounds. It's good for videos. When doing videos, one thing to keep in mind, although the autofocus in the motor is a lot quieter than in the past, it's not silent. So something to keep in mind if you're using your built-in microphone. You might want to use an external microphone just to get away from that motor sound. It's also great in low light. That is going to be a big plus, and you're going to get a lot sharper images. Just going to a prime lens versus a telephoto is going to be a huge improvement. So the price is the other thing. This lens at the current time sells for about $125. You can't beat it. So if you want to go to a little bit better lens with some better light gathering capability, you can go to the 1.4, which is a little better in low light conditions and possibly a bit sharper, but it's almost 3 times as much money. So I think it's about $350 to $400 depending on where you buy it. The reviews on this are phenomenal. Everyone seems to like it. You just really can't go wrong for 125 bucks. So I'll post some pictures on here as well, but give it a try. It's hard to miss with a $125 prime lens of this quality. A couple more things I'd mention. The 50mm lens is pretty much sort of a what you see is what you get lens. So as you're either doing a video or your portrait shots, what you're capturing is about the same as what you're seeing. So it's nice. You can move around. You can judge your distance very easily based on what you can see with your bare eye. Now keep in mind, this is meant to work with either a full frame camera, in which case it would be operating as a true 50mm, or in the case of many of us, like the T6i that I'm using now, the APS-C format or sensor. It's going to have a crop factor, which is going to make it effectively an 80mm lens, which not a huge difference. Still works just as well for portraits and videos, but just something to keep in mind. The other thing is, I mentioned some of the improvements over the previous lens. The other thing is that this does have improved lens coating. While the glass itself is the same as the previous lens, and which is fine, doesn't need to be upgraded. The lens coating does do a better job of preventing flares if you get into some harsh lighting conditions. So other than that, hope you enjoy. If you like the video, give us a like, thumbs up, and subscribe.